discussion, and she's going to be the moderator. The purpose of this project is for the member to apply her skills as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. I wish Dr. Shanti Rekha all the very best. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Dr. George, for that message on the objectives. Please help me welcome Dr. Shanti Rekha Rao. Dr. Shanti, the space is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Before we go ahead, I would request Zoom Master to please spotlight all my panelists. The first and foremost are, our DTM Harish. Yeah, the second one, youth leader Aisha Safair. Then we have Toastmaster Libby James. Toastmaster Parveen Sultana.
Please turn on your video, Toastmaster Parveen Sultana.
Toastmaster Parveen Sultana. Okay, Toastmaster Arzu. Toastmaster Parveen Sultana, please turn on your video. Thank you. And Toastmaster Arzu. Toastmaster Arzu. Thank you. Thank you, Zoom Master. On a timer, please note that it's a 40 minutes. So 20 minutes, you have to show green light, yellow at 30 minutes, and red light at 40 minutes. Okay, thanks a lot, timer. Yeah, thanks a lot. Let me pin the timer. Who is the timer for today? I can't see.
Toastmaster Sandeep. I have.
Okay, let me see his
spotlight
so that you can. Perfect. That's good. That's a great thing. Thank you. Timer, now you can start the time. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster, for that wonderful, elating introduction. I'm really humbled. Thank you, intellectual panelists, for coming to the session. Today, we are going to witness a powerful and amazing panel discussion. Basically, we will be having two segments. Firstly, we will have few moments for each of you to express briefly your views on the topic for the day. And then second half of our time, today we will open the floor to give the audience an opportunity to ask specific questions that you have been thinking about to help to navigate the discussion. So are the panelists ready? If yes, let's get started with the topic. The topic, can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? Ladies and gentlemen, an important reason to assess students' learning is to find how well the students are learning and to what degree are they accomplishing the learning outcomes the academic institute hold for them. Assessment can be viewed as a means of helping students to learn a way of reporting on students' progress and a way of making decisions about teaching too. Basically, learning assessments is like magnifying glass. We hold up for the students' learning to discern whether the teaching and the learning process is functioning well or is in need of change. Long time ago, when my child was in UKG, she got us papers. I mean, it's on about marking the organs, you know, like she was there, like a ear was there, mouth was there, a car was there, and a phone was there. She marked, she circled all. But in that, she lost 2 marks. So when I asked Beta, why did you mark car and the phone? She said, Mama, in the car must be a person. Obviously, he is having all the internal organs. Whereas with the phone, he is using ear. So obviously there also you have internal organs. So why the teacher gave me wrong? I have no idea. Having said this, there have been many kinds of research in an educational psychological field that learning takes place in students' head where it is invisible to others. This means that learning must be assessed to performance what students can do with their learning. Assessing students' performance can involve assessments that are formal or informal, high or low stakes, public, individual, or collective. However, we have witnessed for many years that progress report cards have been only, which has only numbers, ultimate assessment to promote to higher grades, getting admission in higher courses or colleges. We have often seen that academic excellence awards, which are often given to the highest marks students. Many pieces of research and studies are going on about the relevance of our graduation system, gradation system in schools and colleges. There have been various discussions about the advantages and disadvantages of the gradation system in schools and colleges. And this is a very important area to be studied seriously, whether to stop or continue. Many parents have reported that gradation is incomplete. It's not possible to assess all the learning and skills of all the students using the same skill. Some skills cannot be measured, which is very true. And many students have stated that these marks are the major stress and affect student psyche. Yet, not it is possible to stop gradation, marking, or assessment to understand the progress. Today, we have panelists from different fields and segments to discuss the very pivotal topic: can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? Once again, thanks a lot, dear panelists, for taking our time and coming to our show. I'm very sure your valuable inputs in this discussion will surely be beneficial and valuable for parents, students, and educationists. Without further ado, let's kickstart our panel discussion. The first panelist is DTM Harish. He is a proud father of 2 children, daughter aged 19, doing second in engineering, and son aged 13 in 7th grade. DTM Harish is a very seasonal Toastmaster, conducted various workshops on emotional intelligence, and eloquent speaker. He's a former area District 769, Director 69. He is very passionate public speaker. I welcome you, sir, to this panel. Sir, can you please throw light on this topic? The virtual floor is yours. DTM Harish.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti Rekha. First of all, thank you very much for choosing me to be one of the panelists and for this opportunity. Can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? Let me narrate an experience from life. I am, in my family, there are 4 children. I am the youngest. My eldest brother, I think he's listening to the speech for the first time. He's attending a Toastmasters meeting, and he's 7 years elder to me. He joined school, and when he joined school, there was a classmate. His name was Ashokan. 7 years after he joined in first standard, I joined the same school. And then it took me 7 more years to reach the 7th standard. And before I reached the 7th standard, the same Ashokan, who was my elder brother's classmate, became my classmate as well. And the day I cleared my 7th standard exam, and I was graduating to go to the high school, Ashokan made a decision to drop out from school, because some teachers told him that studying in the same school for 14 years and not reaching even to 7th grade, it looks like studies is not meant for him. And today, Ashokan is a very successful businessman. And many of the students who are as bright academically as Ashokan, they work for Ashokan. So, had marks been the perfect benchmark to judge a student's performance, Ashokan's story wouldn't have turned out like this. It is obvious that there is something wrong. When I think about it, I think there are 2 reasons for it. First is, what marks measures are not things that are really relevant. I studied a lot. I was a good student, and I spent midnight hours trying to understand calculus. But in my entire professional life of about 25 years, hardly any time I used that calculus equations. So all that time I spent, all that performance and mark I acquired during my student's life, it wasn't of any use in my real life. And we can see that even companies, they recruit from colleges, what they do, they put them into training in order to equip them with the skills that the companies they really need. So I told my students, dear children, getting marks is not really important because it will not help you much. And life, there are certain other things. Then the students told me it's not so bad. If I don't get good marks, I will not get admission in good schools. In which case, companies will not hire me in the first place. For that, I need to learn things by rote and exactly reproduce whatever that is given in the textbook. This is the second system, the second issue in our education system, because the way the marks is measured, it is ridiculous. So for two reasons, I think the proposition is, the answer to the proposition is a resounding no, because the marks, first of all, doesn't measure the relevant stuff. And second thing, in cases where it may be measuring the relevance stuff like basic mathematics and all, it doesn't measure it the right way because the emphasis is on learning by rote. For these two reasons, I'm fully convinced that as the marks, as of today, it doesn't give a clear picture of the students' performance, and there are umpteen stories about it that we can cite. With that, over to Dr. Shanti Rekha. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Harris, for throwing light on this topic. And I'm sure your children are there listening to you. So whenever next time the report cards are coming, they are going to quote the same thing. Marks are not that relevant. I understand, because the way the marking, the grading system is being done, it's according to you, it's quite ridiculous. And then mostly some of the companies, they train people despite the fact you're 95, you're the topper, or from the top B schools, they train you. Right. Now let's move on to another speaker. She is a mother of a child who is in the junior grades. She is an MSc chemistry and an excellent teacher. She used to take students for higher grade children. Her achievements in Toastmasters Club are third position table topic speaker in club level and third in humorous speaker in club speech in club contest. Currently, she is serving as VP Education in NISA Toastmaster Club. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Arzu to share your thoughts on this. Toastmaster Arzu, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful introduction. A warm good evening to dear all. I will start with the quote of Mahatma Gandhi. By education, I mean an all-round drawing of the best in child and man, in body, mind, and spirit. For me, marks should never be the only criteria to judge a student ability. Each student has a unique quality and differences. Grouping all students under a single umbrella of board exam score means being ignorant toward a person capability to form in a particular course and performance. Marks are only indicator of a student understanding and grasp of subject in a question, assuming a fair and just examination. For example, my son is a 5th grader. Whole year he's playing video game. But when exam came, before 2 weeks, he started focus on the knowledge, only the answers. And he scored 90% above. Oh my God, I was surprised. I asked, for example, one day I asked, which vitamin deficiency causes berry? He replied within a couple of seconds, vitamin B. I asked why this vitamin, only its function, what its molecular formula, how it works in our body. He replied, no need of this, mama, don't worry. I will leave no stone unturned to score 90% marks. Oh my God. Coming back to the topic. To judge a student, there should be performance-based learning because it will be an approach to the teaching and learning that a student being able to do or perform specific skills as a result of instruction, which would be authentic, and meaningful to the student. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful Toastmaster Arzu, for sharing your beautiful thoughts and really brilliant thoughts. Because according to you, you said that grading should be performance based rather than the marks. So even you do agree that marks are not the criteria. Great. I think our panel discussion is picking on hit. Now let's move on to our third panelist. Today, we have a heterogeneous group wherein we have a student who is going to share her take on this topic. She's a 12th grader with IIS Jubail, debate winner in school. She joined the Global Gavel Club in 2020. It's its starting year and served as its first vice president of education. She represented her club at the Sept District Conference for the Youth Forum International Speech Contest and was honored to bring home the winning trophy. Currently, she is serving as a current president of the Global Gavel Club. Let me welcome youth leader Aisha Safar to share her views on the topic. Aisha Safar, the virtual floor is yours.
Moderator, respected Sayyid Hamid sir, honored guests, ladies, gentlemen, and fellow eloquent panelists. We students grew up constantly learning the inevitable importance of marks. The most frequent question, the most common question asked to a student is about his or her scores. Friends, family, relatives, the entire society interrogates us on our marks. And that was the only criteria we were judged on. We, as a part of the student fraternity, are still sober, simple, and young. And the more sober and simple we are, the more we are subjected to our surroundings, the more we are influenced by the beliefs and opinions they share with us, the more long-lasting effect it has on us. And because of this subjection, from a young age, it is drilled onto our subconsciousness that if we do not get good marks, our future remains a fog. It is instilled onto our brains that our entire future depends on a few digits of numbers. At 10th grade, we are promised a great future if we top our class. Then comes 12th grade, where once again the promises are awakened, then followed by college. Promises, promises, promises. If you score the best marks, your life is set. But once we enter the outside world, we are stuck, hit with harsh reality. We spent our entire life running behind a curriculum, not realizing what the world actually requires is talent, attitude, behavior, ability, skill, and knowledge. We forget to develop ourselves as people, to strengthen our personality and creativity. We prioritize cramming a few syllables and scoring instead of practical application. The civil service examinations are one of the most decorated and dignified examinations of India. I'm sure most of you will agree with me. A selection for the future leaders of India. In such an important process, it is not the top scorers who qualify, but the top performers. And my friends, there is a significant difference between the two. But that is the difference that creates India's great leaders. Every individual is unique, possessing certain qualitative differences. Sheltering them under a single parameter, that is marks, means confining those discrete talents, ignoring the future those talents can bring to that individual. The classroom is too small of a place to judge a child's brilliance. In India, people first become engineers and then decide what to do with life. All because when they were young, they gave into pressure believing marks and status and scores only mattered. all the subjection around the society traps them in a vicious bubble where grades reign over knowledge and ability. I would like to conclude my words by saying that choosing marks as a benchmark to judge a student hampers them as an individual, as a person, as a human. Because every individual lies in different spheres of intelligence, and they are geniuses in their respective spheres. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life believing it is useless. Moderator.
Thank you, Youth Leader Aisha Safar, for such a remarkable views about to distinguish between a performer and achiever. I do agree with you. Many of the students, they undergo depression because they are not getting good marks. It's not that they don't have ability, but I have seen because of they don't get good marks. And many a times in schools and at home, they are being judged. You are a good person because you got full marks. So a good child is synonym of getting good marks. Good. You have thrown this right on this one. I'm sure all the educationists who are attending today are going to take a note of it and bring a revolution. Let's go ahead. Now we have another enthusiastic and amicable mother of a child who is in higher grade. She is BSc Physics with MBA in HR, a former software employee, nowadays domestic engineer, wonderful, a mother of 2 sons, and a freelancer for educational websites. Toastmaster Parveen, welcome to our panel discussion. You have a son who is going to be in professional life soon. So what's your view on this topic? Toastmaster Parveen, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you for the delightful introduction, Dr. Shanti Rekha. Assalamu alaikum and an energetic evening to Periyar Toastmasters and other fellow Toastmasters. Grouping all the students under one umbrella of scores is being oblivion to the fact of the person's capability. Imagine selecting a creative designer based on his marks rather than on his designs or creativity. Isn't that absolutely absurd? Yes, I agree. To some extent, marks tell us how much hard work that you have put on that particular exam, but not on your capability. Marks show your present status. Like, for example, if somebody has topped their 10th board exam, does that mean that he will surely top his 12th boards too? Not at all. Some students may not like studying, but that does not mean they are dull and they lack creativity. I do not like the benchmark concept, and I keep iterating this to my son too. But yes, to a certain extent, you may impose this benchmark, but we must know when to strike a healthy balance. Marks is always not the thing. We do not go to schools to keep scoring and get marks. We go to school for gaining knowledge. Choosing to have the score as the criteria for selecting the students hampers the dreams of those who are good at practical application of knowledge. But they are not be good at practical application, but they are equally good at making marks. Practical application is more important than cramming and scoring. Some students can apply whatever they have learned very effectively, but at the same time, they may not be able to score marks. That is not their cup of tea. Our goal should be knowledge. For life itself is an endless pursuit of knowledge. Coming back to the question that is posed to me, exams and the resulting marks. Yes, they do give a fair idea about a student's performance in academics and his ability to handle pressure. But do you know, despite all of these, India has emerged as the information technology powerhouse and has a beeline of reputed IITs. Yet, India has failed to produce a scientist receiving the most coveted prize. Because India is lagging in science and technology compared to the developed countries. India has only 140 researchers per 10 lakh of population compared to the 4,651 researchers in the US. And investing in science and technology, China invests about 4 times more than India. and a whooping 75 times more by the United States of America. Therefore, to conclude, I would want to leave with a food of thought. I would say the marks being the only criteria is like judging a fish by its ability to fly and a bird by its ability to swim. Thank you everyone for the undivided attention and Dr. Shanti Rekha for letting me voice out my views.
Thank you, Toastmaster Parveen. Truly notable points of bringing a valuable point that they need to be a striking balance between the marks and the performance. And also bringing eye-opening statistics, which is truly remarkable. And it's going to be really, thought-provoking or an eye-opener, and to understand how we are going to evaluate our students, not only taking only the marks, but something different aspects. That's very good. So last but not the least, we have an educationist. She's working, she's a teacher working with IIS Jubail, teaching higher grade, class boys, and also a mother of boy who is 12, who is in 12. Teaching in profession is a passion. Social worker, and apart from that, she is also active member in Toastmasters in the Arabian and Jubail Malayalam Club, and she is one of the most eloquent speaker. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Libby James. Toastmaster Libby James, the virtual stage is yours to opine, to throw light on this topic.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti Rekha. The destiny of a nation is folded within its youth. Respected Syed Hamid sir, George sir, moderator, my colleague and dear friend Dr. Shanti Rekha, fellow Toastmasters, youth leaders, and welcome guests. Good evening to you all. First of all, I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate Peria Toastmasters Club, at the same time the moderator Shanti Rekha, taking the initiative to conduct a debate with an apt topic with definitely raise serious doubts about today's education system. Can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? As a teacher, my answer is a big no. As a teacher, I got opportunity to mold the character of many students in each year. In each class, we are dealing with nearly 35 students, and they are entirely different from each other. As our Said Hamid sir once he told, like even banana is comparing with orange child, why your color is orange, why you are not like orange, complaining, comparison. So here, these children are unique, each and everyone is unique, and they are different from each other physically, mentally, etc. But we are calculating or grading the children intelligent, average, below average, poor. These are based on the academic score. Okay, in each class, the students are divided into a different group. But dear friends, most of my very good students showing very good human values are from the large groups, very poor and below average. So how can I label them poor and below average based on their exam mark? Attitude towards the fellow being is very important here. The function of a true education is to build an integrated personality. There should be simultaneous and harmonious growth of body, mind, sense, and spirit. Nowadays, children feel education as a very stressful one, as mainly because of the over expectation of their parents. In their life, the parents are unable to reach up to their dreams, and they are trying to fulfill their dreams through their child's life. Sometimes parents are comparing their achievement with their child. This will give more stress and tension to the child, and later the child who got more marks than this boy become an enemy of that child. So appreciate the efforts of your child and not the outcome. Later, the average grade child will score more in real life, and this will give more depression to the child who scored full in academic exams. Suicide cases are increasing day by day among our youngsters. The reason is simple. They are unable to overcome a failure because they are not given a chance to face a failure in their life. That lesson they got, what lesson they got is, if you fail, everything you lost. As we all know, education is the overall development of a child. Pick up the morals, the child is pick up the morals throughout his life. It is through education that we are molding our character. Nobody is born with moral content, in him.
That's really great, Libby James. You are coming up with a very wonderful one. Being a teacher, still you are emphasizing that marks are not only the criteria. Thanks a lot, dear. Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Libby, for sharing. That's wonderful. Now, dear fellow Toastmasters and my panel, thanks a lot to all the panelists who have joined with us to really throw light on this a very pivotal topic. Are marks the only criteria, benchmark to judge a performance? Now, today we have an educationist. He's a father of education. I always term him. He's none other than Dr. Syed Hamid. Dr. Syed Hamid, can you please share some light on this particular topic?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
There is some technical problem here with my tool. It's wonderful, and good evening to all eminent Toastmasters and my dear students. Particularly Aisha is there, a wonderful debater of IAS Jewel. So happy to hear wonderful Toastmasters. Particularly again, Dr. George is with us. It is a great honor. Well, I totally agree. And today a question was brought to my question paper or answer sheet was brought to my notice by one of the school teachers, because here schools have reopened. And the question asked in that and answer written by the child of grade 2, I want to share with you. Right? 2 sources of food. The child has written beautifully Zomato and Swiggy. So whether marks to be given or not was the question by the teacher. 2 sources of food. And such wonderful things they were showing me, right? 2 sources of water. And the child has written tap in wash basin and tap in kitchen room. Okay, wonderful source. Water is coming there also. So food sources, the child might have seen Zomato person delivering, or that Swiggy fellow delivering the food items. Anyway, the topic is so wonderful, and we have been discussing this. And a mighty board like CBSE brought in grade system instead of numerical marking. And there is no tool available with all of us here, educationists, no such tool available to measure the cognitive potential of human beings. Thanks to Libby madam, remembering my comparison of banana and orange, taking 2 things in our hands, in right hand orange and in left hand banana, and blaming banana why the banana is not red in color or round in shape, and also blaming the orange why it is not looking like a banana, very tall person like Amitabh Bachchan, is meaningless, because banana doesn't feel happy and orange also doesn't feel happy. Rightly pointed out in the opening remarks by Toastmaster and today's Toastmaster Roshan Patrick, that every child, every human being is unique. And Aisha has quoted, and Pavin madam also quoted, that expecting a fish to fly or a bird to swim and labeling them as not competent, they are going to suffer throughout their lives. Each child is unique, and Howard Gardner has given us different areas that we all possess, different intelligence areas, not just numerical intelligence, but he has listed out 7 areas of intelligence. So we will be very happy if teachers and parents do not put pressure on lovely children by looking at their marks. We all know Thomas Alva Edison was labeled as a very poor student and asked to leave the school. Even Albert Einstein was labeled as useless in the school, in the classroom. So somewhere we all need to be very serious about this numerical marking and saying that you are 94 and I am 95 and somebody else is 99. So 99 is the topper and 94 and 96 scorers become faceless people. So at least grading system was there, and again, I do not know, it was removed abruptly by the CBSE. For about 10 years, we had grade system. Grade system was slightly better because all those who are getting 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100 used to come under A1. So that was meaningful. 91 and 99, okay. Or at least 97, 98, what is the difference? It's a wonderful topic chosen by Periyar Toastmasters and also inviting such wonderful personalities, and I'm eager to listen to Dr. George. And I was very happy to listen to other Toastmasters colleagues like Libby James and my student Aisha. I would like to only emphatically say that marks are not true measures of any student's intelligence. So Aisha was very clear that it is not the score that is important, it is the total performance of the person that is very important, and that is what the weightage given in the civil services. So the performance, total performance, taking all these areas, prelim marks and main marks and also interview performance, plus the degree achievements, that is academic achievements, all total performance of the individual is taken there to label IAS, to provide merit list and IAS, IPS, IFS, all these things. So nice. Thank you very much, Dr. Shanti, for having invited me. And to all my colleagues, Dr. Shanti Rekha and Libby James and others,
Thank you. Thank you.
This webinar connecting to education forum, going to speak on
Thanks a lot.
teachers and how they have been the frontline warriors during the Corona period. They switched over, forgetting blackboard, blue board, green board, white board, smart board, all boards they forgot. And all these wonderful teachers, very particularly the ladies, the lady teaching staff, they switched over to this small screen, laptop screen or mobile screen. And they provided and they proved that learning cannot stop, whether it is Corona or whether something else, and they are successful. And we are going to honor such wonderful teachers who have contributed a lot to education, and particularly the learning gap was minimized by these wonderful teachers.
Thank you, sir.
Online classes. Now
Thanks
almost
a lot, sir.
states in India have ordered and the schools have been reopened, and physical teaching or face-to-face teaching is going on now. Over to Shanti Rekha. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, that your inputs from all, thank you very much. Your inputs all the way from India, you have joined to really give us some valuable inputs, because your inputs are the main source. Now the forum is open for discussion, which has already been done. And so once again, thanks a lot all of you and I really understand that marks are not the only criteria. Probably we will be coming with some system. The education system is going to come up with some type of grading system wherein your marks as well as the skills, and it's what Dr. Syed Amis told very nicely, that is called as multiple intelligence in 7 different areas. I may be good in one, maybe the other child is good in another, depending upon that. Even the education system to understand the aptitude, even the aptitude system has come into place, wherein I may be good in mathematical, another person might be good in the verbal. So all this taking into consideration, a person can be assessed. So all the best for your future, dear youth leader Aisha Safar. I hope that you should have this type of grading system to ensure that the best person should fit the best place. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster Shanti, for that wonderful discussion. I should really mention the total panels involved: DTM Harish Bhargavan, Toastmaster Libby James, Toastmaster Parveez Sultanas, Toastmaster Arsu, and Dr. Saeed Hamid. We had a very eloquent discussion